Hello. So currently, I went into Facebook, Discord, Reddit, and Twitter, and it is impossible to not see a post about Ultragus, and it annoys me. So because it annoys me so much, I'm talking about it. I can't. I cannot. So let's get started. Why do people hate this card so much, and how can we improve it? Because I'm a card maker. So I'm gonna need to make this video about card making, right? I just don't want to rant about this singular card and rant about the community for being in how just by this stupid single card. Let's get started. I'm Refight. I talk about custom cards, and sometimes I'll talk about random stuff like this too. So, all triggers. And trigger that you can only put one in the deck. You check it, you get 100 million power, and you get a draw, you get a +1, you get buffset additional effects, and you get a free heal if you check it as defensively. If you draw it, you get a 50k shield. And let's see why this card is ridiculous. So, first of all, it's only one of. So that's already a red flag. Any cards that can only be put one off is a luck factor that we don't really like, because the chance you drawing them in a game is ridiculous. It's not that big. Either checking or drawing, you're not really going to see an over trigger often in the game. And that's why it's unpredictable. You don't know if it's going to come at you or not. And with that one off, we still have ridiculous power, a +1 for free, a heal for free, and busted FX. So as you can see, I feel like Bushiroad designed this card thinking they want to have a trigger that does everything. It's like all the triggers combined. And it's a good concept, but the way they deliver the output is not good. It's the effects are too much. So you can see why people hate this card, why people want it restricted from premium mainly, but most people also say just to delete this card out of its existence because they also hate it on Overdress, apparently. And that's a main issue because this card was designed in standard, and it's one of the main gimmicks that form our Overdress or standard format today. So let's see how we can actually improve this card to be not this unhealthy to the game. So I asked from many social medias, I asked in Discord and Facebook mainly, on how we could rework on this singular card to be better, to be usable in all formats except B Premium, because you know why. So I got a lot of interesting responses, and so let's see. So first of all, a lot of people again just say just to delete the card out of the game, and I really hate the response. I'd ask them how we can rework, but people just don't get the point of the question and say like it's really more healthy to delete this card from the game. It's annoying. I just don't understand why people can just give me actual response on what I asked them. But whatever, I got a lot of good responses, but I just wanna rant a bit about these kind of people that don't understand the point of the question. So, first of all, a lot of people say to reduce the power from 100 million to 10k. I agree on this. The 100 million power is ridiculous. It makes an attack unprotectable or make an attack useless, because if you check it defensively, you never can penetrate an attack unless you also check an auto trigger, and the probability of that almost zero. However, some people also suggested if we're making the trigger one-off, we can make it 20k or 30k too, because it's more fair for a one-off trigger. I'm fine with that, but I just feel like 10k would still be healthier to the game. But if they want to make 15, 20, it's okay. 30k is a bit too much for me. Most people say to keep the shield because it's okay. Like, having more defensive usage in the game is okay. I know that Bushiroad is trying to make the game faster, but it's good to have something to slow the game down too. Having the game end too fast, like in turn 3, is not ideal. The game should end at like turn 4, 5, 6 on, not instantly on turn 3. Most people also say to keep the slots, that it's a free heal, it's a +1, and it's removed from the game. And also say to keep the additional effects too, because they really like the additional effects as they're unique to the nations. But some people also disagree, and I totally understand the points. So the most disagreement is on the additional effect, because most additional effects are busted. They're really powerful, like this lyrical Monasterio. You have, during this fight, you get, during your turn, all your record get 10k, and it's a really powerful skill because it's during this fight. That means for the entire game of that game. So if checked early, it's a really powerful skill. And then we have some really broken skills like the Bungrade one, that if you check it, the front row just doubles the power, the critical, or the Killer Sanctuary one that enables all your regards to be able to drive check, and it's pretty scary. So we either have two options here, either nerfing them, which is the natural thinking. If something is too OP, we errata them and nerf their skills to be a bit weaker. Or second, choice restriction. And I really like this idea. So we agree on making the our triggers 10k. For Orberia, the Quay Elemental one, instead of giving 100 million, we only give 20k to 2 units, so that it's not equivalent to a front trigger. It's still stronger, it's still an over trigger that is better than all the triggers, but it isn't that game breaking. But for the Bungrade and the Killer Sanctuary one, we wanna choice restrict some, like Gravity is really busted with the all trigger, so we choice restrict them. Bastion with the Killer Sanctuary all trigger is really scary, we choice restrict them. That way, the busted skills are less powerful to the units that can abuse it, but it's still a powerful trigger that has really good effects, but gives only 10k, so it's like a normal trigger. And I really like that idea. Another idea is to rework the whole ult trigger thing, to not be a one-off and to be just another type of trigger. And let's see, I see like two ideas that are really, that looks fine to me, that I find like fascinating. The first one being, just make an ult trigger a wide trigger. So it's a 10k trigger that could be anything. That could be a critical, that could be a dual, that could be a front, or could be a heal. I like this idea. It's not too game breaking, and if you put it as a one-off, it's a pretty fun trigger. It's a fun mechanic. You can also make, like, changes. So if you're like, oh, in this game I need more heals, I need a fifth heal, you can use the auto trigger as a heal. If you need more attack pressure, you can add critical up front. Or if you just need more hands, you can draw. This idea is pretty good. It doesn't break the game, it makes the game completely healthy. Another idea that I like is just make an auto trigger, a normal trigger that you can put 4 of, and instead of having 100 billion, we have 10k, normal shield, and additional effects specific to a nation. So still the same, but the additional effects are a lot weaker than what we currently have. Like, let's say Killer Sanctuary is still on the same idea that you make your regards able to drive check, but you only choose one, and that one unit can only have one drive check, not two. Like if they're a great, you can twin drive. It's a pretty good idea, balance, and I like this idea a lot, but I haven't really got the chance to edit it and make it out as a card. So this is just an edit of a 10k or trigger, nothing changed on this one. So that's it for this video.